What Lonzo thinks is a wide-ranging, free-flowing discussion where I offer my unsolicited views on everything from music, movies, politics, sports, religion, pop culture, you name it. If it's happening, I'm talking about it. My thoughts unsolicited. I don't care, but if you're listening, I guess you've been solicited. All right, and I am back, and I have a special guest with me, fresh out of Vegas, Kellie Pryor. Hey, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How you doing?
I'm doing great, and thank you so much for taking time out to join me tonight. And good Lord, there is just so much to talk about. I don't even know where to begin, but I'm going to start at the beginning. Obviously, unless you've been on the planet Mars, there's been a lot happening in Washington D.C. with the Commander in Chief, the one, the only Donald John Trump. If you follow me, you know that he's not my favorite person in the world. So it's with glee and trepidation and sadness that I've been watching the events of the past week or so. So we're gonna basically just kind of riff. This show we're gonna riff basically on everything that's been going on and the circus that has been encircling when President Donald Trump. Man, it still makes my skin crawl just to say that. So, but Kellie, first of all, I don't want to assume anything. Are you a Trump supporter or what's your status?
No, I am not a Trump supporter, nor am I a Biden supporter.
Oh, so are you like an independent or moderate or what? What's your?
I am. Oh, I'm sorry. I am a Democrat. I've been a Democrat. I think. Well, not even. I think. I know. I have now, through my own educational journey, have figured out that the Republicans and the Democrats are basically the difference between Pepsi and Coke.
Oh wow. So
And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh no, I will go even further. I'm gonna go there. One is overtly racist, and the other one is benevolently racist. So basically, racist with a smile, or just blunt racism. There is no difference between the two. It's a distinction without a difference.
That's very interesting, and I don't think you're far from the truth at all. A wolf in sheep's clothing is still a wolf, right? So,
Correct.
so I definitely get behind what you're saying there, and a lot of folks always say that I guess back in in the olden days, so to speak, um, the Democrats, they were the party of racism, the KKK, and everything, and that Republicans were the abolitionists and everything, and it's like
Right.
they basically just kind of swap sides. But like you said,
Right.
Coke is Coke and Pepsi are still both colas. So
Correct.
so so it definitely makes sense. So that being said, since you are a Democrat, you're not a Biden fan. Who'd you vote for, if you mind me asking?
I voted down ballot. I left the top of the ticket blank, and
Ah,
I focused on my local and state officials that were either incumbents up for reelection or new people that were, trying to run.
okay. You know that I live in Georgia, right?
Yes.
Okay. So were you following the the runoff election between Kelly Loeffler, David Perdue?
Warnock.
Yeah. Hmm. So what were
Yes.
your thoughts on
Yes.
that?
I didn't like either one of them. I say that, and I know whoever's listening going, well, what the heck do you like? I do not like having to pick between the lesser of two evils.
Hmm.
Stokely Carmichael once said, "A moral man never chooses evil. Period."
Hmm.
So now going back to the political side of things, you think, well, I got to pick somebody. Somebody's going to win. And I understand that, but I don't want to have a hand in either one of them winning. So with that being said, getting back to Warnock and Loeffler, Warnock, while he may be a safe choice, I have a problem with him because if you look at his platform, He does not specify what he wants to do specifically for black people. That seems to be a third rail for black politicians, to which I say, stop running as a black person trying to cultivate the black vote or galvanize the black vote. And then when you get elected by black people, you get into office and then you don't do anything for black people. I'm tired of that. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the symbolisms. I'm sick of it. Oh, I'm not trying to vicariously live through you. I'm putting you in there because I need you to do something for me, which does not mean you don't have to do anything for someone else. You can still, with the same specificity that you can mention the LGBTQ, with the same specificity that you can mention the immigrants, with the same specificity that you can mention Native Americans, with the same specificity that you can mention the Jews and the Holocaust, of which my taxes are still paying for the survivors or the descendants of survivors that stand in the shoes of the people that unfortunately went through what they went through. Then you can specifically say what you can do for black people. One is not going to cancel out the other. I just need them to quit being afraid to do something for the very people that built this country.
I get that, and you're right. You're absolutely right in your assessment, and but it was a double-edged sword because your train of thought is directly in line with my train of thought, but at the same time, obviously Georgia is deep south. It's one of the reddest, most racist states in the United States of America. And Warnock is the first black senator, U.S. senator, in the history of the state of Georgia. So I get it. I get it that in order for him to be the first, there had to be some concessions made or some things not specifically brought up, I think, in the campaign, because it was so vital and so important that he and Ossoff win and give the majority to the Democrats, and more importantly, to keep Loeffler and Perdue out of Washington. So, go ahead.
Yeah. So okay, and that's fine. I've heard that that was a major thing that needed to be done, because I even have a girlfriend who was here, who was from Las Vegas, who even flew down to Georgia to help knock on doors to help make this thing happen. That's how serious people took this.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we get the control of the House. I mean, the House and the Senate, or at least, it's even to the point that Kamala can always just, run down. Miss Lotus Flower can run in there and put her little vote in and float back to wherever she came from.
Yeah.
And I'll get to her in a moment. My situation, my problem is that I'm speaking for black people. I can't speak for any other group. I can only speak for my people.
Mm-hmm.
We, again, have delivered the vote for the Democrats.
Yes.
The problem is that we are functioning like a bunch of hoes, just giving it up for free and not getting something in return. Meaning we need to make sure that whoever it is that wants to get in, you can see the power of our vote. That if you want to get in there, you need to be talking what you're going to do your first 100 days or your first 2 days or your first 2 seconds in the door, specifically what you're going to do for black people. If you're not, then all I'm doing is I'm a guaranteed vote for you, so now you can get in, and now you ain't got to do nothing for me. And then also what you were saying about if he had said something, he wouldn't got the vote. Why is it that I asked that question to many people? He couldn't say that. If you're not saying it to get in the door, you ain't going to do it when you get in, when you get there. And I'll say that to say this. There is a gentleman by the name of Ja'Cory Arthur, and you can look him up. His name is spelled Jecorey, last name Arthur, Arthur. He is in Kentucky. He just got elected councilman, and he ran on a reparations ticket. That was his platform, the third rail of all of the black people. He ran on that, and the man won. He's in there now. Right now he's councilman-elect. Well, no, he got sworn in. But my point is that I think what's happening right now, because the beauty of Warnock getting in is that the Republicans, and if anybody knows the history of the Electoral College, the Electoral College backfired on
big time.
white folks.
Yeah.
So that is what I'm telling you. That the people aren't talking about this. This is what I'm seeing, because I kind of like to read the tea leaves. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. The Electoral College, which was created because at one point, and I'm sorry, I know, Alonzo, you probably already know it, but whoever's listening in your audience may not, so know, like, what the heck is she talking about?
That's fine.
This was devised back in the day of slavery because black people at that point outnumbered the whites in the South. And so they knew they were going to, if black people had a certain amount of voting privileges, it was going to always override whatever their little antsy votes, because they didn't think that through when they started breeding us in the breeding farms like cattle, which is why they said chattel slavery, and they didn't realize that they bred us up to the point that now we overpopulated them at one time. That's why they opened up the borders and let the immigrants in and let Irish people declare themselves as white, Germans declare themselves as white because they needed to up their white numbers. But I digress. But anyway, with the Electoral College, that was supposed to give the South that voting power that could be right up there with the North and whatever other, areas of the United States that were voting. They were hoping like hell that was going to go in their favor this time, because Warnock was not even supposed to make it this far. Am I right, Alonzo?
Yeah.
He wasn't even supposed to get up in there.
No.
And quiet as kept, I was kind of rooting for Tamara Shealy, because she actually was running on a reparations ticket, and she got 6th place, which I was very impressed with. I was actually following what was going on in Georgia. But I'll say this. My whole point is that with the two of them running, Kelly Loeffler is just, you might as well just, she might as well just been down to Capitol herself.
Yeah.
And that's all I can say about that without really disparaging anyone. But the way she was talking and just her history was real. It didn't have my best interest at heart. But you have Warnock, and with commercials, kissing puppies and all this other stuff. Of course, he was going to get in there. And I'll leave it at that. Sorry to be long-winded.
No, it's okay. It's quite all right. It's quite all right. I mean, like I said, it was tough because of the things that you brought up. But to me, you had to put your trust, a little trust, into Warnock getting in there and making some moves. Even if it's subtle moves, there has to be, the needle has to move in a certain direction. And with the tide turning, since Georgia is now going blue, with the tide turning in Georgia, and Stacey Abrams is going to be the next governor. I mean, you can cast that in stone. She's going to be the next governor. So we're going to have the first black female governor, and also in the state of Georgia, and also obviously we have the first black senator. So
yeah.
So
how ridiculous is that though when you think about it? We're in 2021.
Yeah.
Still talking about a first black something.
Yeah.
How sad is that?
And it never would have happened.
Sad for America.
Yeah. And Kelly, it never would have happened had Brian Kemp not so blatantly stolen the election from Stacey.
From Stacey. Yep.
Yeah.
He counted his own votes. That
Yeah.
was real cute.
Yeah, that was gangster.
That one.
That was gangster. I mean, give props where props is due.
I was following it. That was ridiculous. How
Yes.
you go cheat and then
In broad daylight.
and you go and thank you, and then you go count your own votes too. Where did you do that? But then again, I'm gonna say the truth of it is with the system of white supremacy, cheating is a win. Period. But they cheat, it's a win.
Well, you know what they say.
Infringing or getting close to it, then or catching up to them, then it's unequal because now you're threatening their power. And I digress to say this because they know that this kind of racism, this kind of disparaging, is the only way that they can thrive. They can't thrive on an even kill. It always has. Black people have never had to use racism to thrive. Unless you know something I don't.
No, I don't.
We've never had to use racism to to do whatever we're gonna do. We didn't have to invent or inflict racism on white people to create jazz. We didn't have to do that to make our inventions that we made. Our inventions came out of necessity, of which slave masters at that point ran to the patent office. It was whoever could get to the patent office. And you know doggone well, why would you be speaking up this kind of invention when you didn't even have to lift your finger to do the work? You got to think about that. But anyway, I'll leave it alone.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, no, it's quite all right. It's quite all right.
I told you I had a little time today.
Nah. Hey, please clean out the closet. Bring all the smoke. That's why we're here. So
All right.
we bringing all the smoke.
Okay.
So that being said, so it'll be a week ago tomorrow that the siege at the Capitol took place. So let's go back to last Wednesday and just off the top of your head, your initial thoughts when all this shit started going down.
Oh, when I first saw it,
Mm-hmm.
I hate to seem cynical, but when I first saw it, I started laughing. And I'll tell you why. I started laughing because I said, now, even if the Democrats, the Republicans, the cops, the whoever, because when I first saw it, when I first realized what was going on, I said, they're going to have to, now they get to feel how we feel. They feel how we feel. Even though they don't really care how we feel, I just feel like even if they don't learn a lesson from it, which I don't think they're going to learn, but at least I'm getting a little bit of a, I don't want to say it's karma, but it is karma. But I just feel like they need this lesson. They need the lesson, and I don't think they've learned. I honestly don't think they've learned. Not saying I'm wishing anything on anybody, because I did not wish this at all. But this was short of the Civil War all over again. And they never punished I was almost about to cuss. They never punished the scalawags from the, I was trying to think of the word. I don't want to have to get sleep. This show
is unrated. So if you want to say motherfucker, damn it, say motherfucker.
Here we go.
Okay.
They didn't punish those Confederate bastards back in the, back during the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
And so technically, when they were restored after committing treason, so what do you think you do? What kind of message do you think you send to the generations of those people? Not saying like they had to learn it from somewhere. Not saying that they thought, we're going to take a page out of the Civil War, but why do you think they would reenact this crap every year?
That's
why
right.
do you think they're reenacting? They're reliving it because I really think that they think they won, and I think they did because they never got punished. We get punished harder for an alleged traffic violation than what happened back then versus even what's happening right now. So basically, when I first saw it, I thought, good for them. The cops opening up the thing. I saw it when the cops were opening the barricade, and one was like, flagging him this way like he was landing a plane. He's like, oh yeah, come right. I was like, oh, they can't trust nobody now. That's the first thing I said, because my husband was on the phone with his brother in Florida, who's military, who was saying, are you seeing this? Because at that point is when we saw the brother running up the stairs with the mob coming after him, which looked like a scene from Walking Dead. I was like, what the heck is going on? But anyway,
yeah,
it's just crazy. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I was at work. I own my own business, so I'm sitting in my office. I'm the boss. I can do that. So I'm sitting in my office and I'm watching this. Okay, and I'm like, first of all, first thing I'm thinking is, I told you so. I'm not shocked at all. I'm not sitting there with my mouth wide open. I'm like, told you. You know what I mean? So it didn't shock me at all. It didn't
shock me either. I laughed, and I literally, just so I could say it later, and I'm going to tell you this, I literally went and got a bag of popcorn. and I got a bag of popcorn and an energy drink. I said, I'm staying up for this. This is going to be good. And I wasn't wishing it on them, tried to tell you, and it wasn't like you didn't know, you didn't care, because you didn't care as long as it was beating up on those niggas. Because, see, they engage, not saying just the people at the Capitol, I'm saying across the board as a group. I'm not saying every single white person, but as a group, a lot of them measure how good they're doing by how bad we're doing. And they feel like, oh, ain't enough of them doing that bad anymore. We need to get them up out the paint. And so they're mad because the whole struggle with the Democrats right now, in my opinion, and what I'm seeing, and the Republicans, is not how to govern just the United States. It's basically how they're going to delve out their racism. I really believe this. And and the Republicans, or your right wing, or whatever you want to call them, conservative, they're all the same to me. I don't see a difference in any of them. But they don't like how the Democrats are handling it. And the Democrats are like, we just want to, we don't want to look embarrassing to the world stage. We don't want to look, really brutal and mean and everything else, because we can't run to other countries and tell them, what to do as far, for democracy's sake, if we don't give the appearance that we are an actual, or faking democracy. So instead of us just being mean to the Negroes, we'll just starve them out through environmental racism and what do you call it, gentrification.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just do it under sneaky stuff. See, they're sneaky, whereas the right side is very open and blatant.
Balls out.
I like, because I know what the hell I'm dealing with. I want to see your dumbass coming. I want to see you coming. I want to know what I'm dealing with. I don't like the nice one. I don't like the one that smiles, has this smile on my face like a scary movie, like the hand that rocks the cradle, and then you got this mean look as soon as I turn my back. And that's what I feel like I'm dealing with when I deal with the Democrats. But to get off, sorry to get off. I have so much to say. I can talk for days on this, but
do your thing.
But the as far as what I saw that happening, I promise you, when I saw that poor brother running up the stairs, and he was running away, and he was calling on the radio, I thought, here we go again. It's a black man. I'm not saying he's doing it all by himself, but it's once again black people helping them out of their situation, bailing y'all out again. He's calling. You can tell he's calling for backup, and no one is coming. And the only reason why I suspect that the mob that was coming upstairs didn't even bother him, because see, right now the civil war between your benevolent races and your overt races. See, they want to duke this out between themselves. That was a little family dispute. And then after they're done with them, then they'll figure out what they're going to do with the niggas. Or the niggers, whichever it is, the South.
Niggers.
All right, but
the coloreds.
Yeah, exactly, the coloreds. We're going to figure out what to do with them, because the whole thing is, they were so afraid of Trump, which I understand, because he is there, along with, like, Putin and all these other oligarchs and different dictators across the world or whatever, they were all trying to line it up. They were reading all this stuff, or not reading, but they go from the teachers of, like, Alexander Dugin. I don't know if you know who that is. Whoever's listening to me, Alexander, Alexsandr. I believe he's German. Dugin, Dugin, I believe it is. It's a very weird spelling of his name, because he's not from here. But anyway, he's about, like, right in line of, like, Adolf Hitler almost. And so they all follow this. This is what they were trying to do. Trump, and he was setting it up, with Bannon and all these other people, where they were trying to really, like, get, like, the Fourth Reich going. So this is what they're not telling people. You might say, well, how do you know? That's a whole other story for another day. I don't want anybody knocking on my door or Alonzo's door, so leave us alone.
QAnon.
Anyway, right? Don't come knocking on my door. But so that's what they were afraid of. So that's what I say. This is, vote like your life depends on it. They say this every election cycle, but this one was important. And people say, well, why did you vote down ballot? Because you know what? Sometimes you got to do scorched earth. That's how I feel. And I'm not saying, like, I'm so big and bad. Yeah, there are fears that I have. I have a family, but there's got to be a point for we as black people, as a group, where you've got to be willing to make the sacrifice. And a lot of us I won't say a lot of us, we don't have the critical mass. We're getting there, but we need the critical mass that's willing to say, you know what, I guess I'm gonna have to some things are just gonna have to fall by the wayside. I have to cut my nose off to spite my face, then that's what I'm gonna have to do, because either we're all gonna be comfortable in this, or we're all gonna be miserable. So
yeah, you're right, because there's no middle ground at all.
no, there shouldn't be a middle ground. It's
No.
just the middle ground with us. And the thing is, on a political scale, everybody's like, oh yeah, we voted, that's fine, but you got to understand, our people, I'm talking again about my black people, as a group, we do not have the finances the way that your big businesses and your think tanks and all these and the lobbyists do for these politicians, but we do have our political capital. And that's why I'm saying we need to use that way better than what we do. Because right now, what we've done as far as putting Warnock in there and doing what we did, we're getting Biden and Kamala in there, was help white people, minorities, that do not include black people, because we should not be included in that group. I'm talking about people of color. I'm talking about your Asians, your Latinos, Hispanics, whatever other ethnic group you can imagine outside of black people. That's who we help. Now, I want to know, now that whenever that happens, we don't get, it's not reciprocal as far as what we get. We get something that's class-based, and they'll come up with a class-based policy when we actually across the board need transformative policies that directly fix us. And I say that because even with your LeBron Jameses, with your Beyoncés, with your whatever celebrity, pro athlete, whatever gazillionaire you can think of, it doesn't even have to be in the entertainment field. It could be whatever, doctor, lawyer, politician. All of those black people with the money, including your baby boomers that have their 401ks and their pensions, their wealth along with they only make up 50% of the wealthiest of our black people. And I say that to say this. The other 50%, that's everybody else who probably ain't making, I'm going to say, $300,000 a year and maybe below. With all of that, including all of our poverty and everything, our liquid assets, including your Oprahs, all people I said, is only $1,700 liquid.
Ouch.
And the problem is, and if you take away the couch and the car, it's probably less than that. And you have to think about it. To be doing $300,000, and just think of the math. It's different. It's a difference in the wealth. And white people own 96% of the nation's wealth. In the trillions of dollars, like over 100 trillion. I know it's in the hundreds of trillions of dollars. Black people only own 2.6% of the nation's wealth. And collectively, with all of the people that I've named, or whoever you can think of in your brain, we only own, I believe it's like 4 trillion.
Wow.
There's a big giant gap. So when we start praising, and that's why, and I'm giving that scenario, whoever's listening or whoever's gonna listen, because we get happy with, like I said, class-based policies. And what I mean by that is, when Kamala says something like they want to give money to an HBCU, well, if only 16% of black people even go to an HBCU, then how does that help us? If I'm never going to get there, or I can't get there, or I'm just not going, there's 16% of us, and the number is dropping, of how many black people, children, teenagers, and the like, that go to college, and they're giving all the money to the HBCU. Did that really help me? That's a class-based policy. I need something that meets me where I'm at. That's a transformative policy.
Yeah, and
all of that. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I agree with what you're saying, because when it comes to the HBCUs, I mean, I think it's more symbolic than anything else. 'Cause like you said, a very small percentage of the black community even go to HBCUs, and on top of that, the HBU education is not valued in mainstream corporate America anyway. So why, what good is getting the funding when it's not getting you where you need to be in the first place? It's like ice skating uphill. I mean, you're not going to,
Oh, I'll tell you. This is my theory on that, and you can check the stats on this. I think the reason why they're doing it because it's what you said. It's symbolic.
Yeah.
And it's also because a lot of the HBCUs now don't even have a lot of black people going to them anymore. Now you have black immigrants, you have Asians, Latina, Hispanics that are going there. So it's not even HBCU anymore. So of course she would give the money there. Of course she would give the money there.
Yeah, I mean,
you said, even though it's not. But you said that it's not even that the degrees aren't really being acknowledged. I bet you that changes because the face of it has changed of going there now. It becomes more prestigious because of who's going there. And then you have to think about a lot of the HBCUs, with the exception of a few. I don't know the exact count. But a lot of them are named after white people. A lot of people don't know that. Like Spelman, for instance, is named after Rockefeller's wife.
I didn't know that. I had no idea.
There's a lot of them, and not saying all the schools, but the HBCUs were built originally for the mulatto, meaning whoever Massa was sleeping with, and now he felt bad because this little mixed child was cute, and he kind of wanted to take her under her wing. He didn't build up a college that these kind of children can go to. That's what the HBCUs were for originally.
I mean, because if you think about it, I mean, how many people can even name 5 HBCUs off the top of their head? I mean, they're like, okay, Morehouse,
right.
Spelman, Howard.
I could because I went to them. I know, right? I went to one, so that's not fair.
I'm talking about. I mean, if you go down to the Vegas Strip and stop a random person and say, hey, name 5 HBCUs for me. First of all, they'll be like, what's an HBCU? And then once you explain that to them, they'll be like, oh, yeah. You got Morris Brown, you got Spelman, you got Howard, you got Morehouse, and you got that other one. So.
Yeah, they don't even know. And there are quite a few, and but there are some that are actually closing down. And what's so interesting is that the ones that are closing down are the ones that are actually named after black people, which I thought was kind of interesting. But that's another show for another day.
Uh-oh, what happened? Did I lose you?
Oh, no. It's something deep. Did you hear that?
Yeah, okay. I thought I lost you.
Kind of weird. Okay, but all right.
Okay.
All right. So I didn't mean to get off the path because you were asking about. I was doing all that to explain myself about when I kept saying class-based policy, because I know there's somebody out there in the ethos going, they are doing something for black people. That's fine if I hit a certain bracket, a certain income bracket. But what about the ones that the 50% of them that aren't doing that don't know where they're going to eat tonight, that don't know how they're going to get out of the cold, that don't know whether or not the moratorium that the governor put on is going to lift tomorrow, or they're going to be evicted. I mean, who is speaking to that? And I
nobody cares.
That to us.
Nobody cares.
Exactly, and that's my whole point of that goes back to the Warnocks. I'm not saying Warnock doesn't care. He's doing what he can to get in, but here's my problem with him. He is the minister of the very church that Martin Luther King was a minister of. And if Martin Luther King was alive right now, he would come through the grave and snatch him down, which as he should. Because that is not how Martin Luther King would have ran business. He even talked about at the very end, before, unfortunately, that he had to eat a bullet, that we were coming to get our check.
He was
talking about reparations. He was not talking about kissing puppies and what we can do for the LGBTQ. And like I said, and I've got nothing against the LGBTQ community. Y'all do y'all thing. But my problem is that a lot of these other groups that I keep mentioning over and over again, and there's a point for that, is not to disparage them in any way. A all of the laws that our ancestors created with the Civil Rights Act and immigration and all that, all of those are laws that they are using for other groups, which is why I was saying I don't include myself in the minority group. I don't include myself in the people of color group because that's talking about them. I have a different situation going on. I have a story here as far as me being a descendant of chattel slavery. It's a different story than you coming over here because you wanted to and you knew that the U.S. was as racist as it could be, and now you hit some racism along the way, and now you think you're on equal footing with me. No, I'm sorry that happened to you, and there's a difference between systemic racism and institutional racism. If you were here to go through the redlining, the Jim Crow, the different water fountain, not being able to segregation and all the nine, then that's fine. But you don't get to be in the same equal footing as me, and that's not a problem. But there are programs that protect you from things of that nature. So that's why I keep making that distinction, and that's why I get in Warnock's ass so hard and other black politicians as well, because they know better. But they're going with who's putting money in their pocket, and I understand that, but you can't go get the money from the lobbyist down the street and then come knock on my door because you know damn well you need my vote. We're not going to do both, boo. You're going to pick one or the other. Because I'm telling you, and I'm saying that because I've actually had this conversation with a politician. I am sick and tired of black politicians needing the black vote. Y'all show up to church. Y'all show up whenever it's right down to the wire because you pretty much have a guaranteed 85 to 90% black vote if you just come and eat some chicken and a biscuit. Shout out Jim Clyburn with his little, what did they have, like a collard greens and biscuit, whatever, and fish fry.
Yep.
Ridiculous. But anyway,
so
it's just ridiculous. And they're not. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I could go on for days.
No, it's all right. It's all right. Okay. Let me ask you this. Since you hitting Warnock pretty hard, so let me ask you this now. What if he goes to Washington and puts in work? Then what?
Oh, if he goes into Washington and puts in work, then I will be his biggest supporter. And I say that because I say this: as far as I'm using someone else's words here, so if they hear this, it's not anybody personal, but it is a person that has their YouTube. But I like the way he says it, so I am going to go ahead and say this. So I'm using that disclaimer so they can't be like, he gets my words. I'm not taking your words. His accomplishments, and that goes for any politician that I am pushing, that I would hope, or I am demanding that they do something specifically for me. It could be a one-eyed, one-horn, flying purple people eater, but if he's talking about doing something for me, I'm going to vote for him, okay? So I just want to put that out there. The only thing, because you have black skin does not mean you're going to do something for me. Shout out Lotus Flower. We'll talk about her in a minute. But, and you know who Lotus Flower is, right?
No, I don't. Who's Lotus Flower?
Oh, okay. Lotus Flower, that's what Kamala's name. Kamala Harris.
Oh, snap.
Kamala means Lotus Flower.
Oh,
that's
snap.
what her name means. But,
okay.
Yeah. So that's why I say Lotus Flower. So anybody catches that from now on.
Gotcha.
Now the story's out. But with Warnock, it's like being on the prison yard. Even though I've never been to prison, but you gotta show your paperwork. I need to make sure your paperwork ain't dirty. If that makes any sense to anybody out there. So I need to see what you did today. I need to know what you're getting ready to do. I don't want to know what you did 2 weeks ago. I need to know what you're going to do for me today. We're at a point where, at one point, black people as a group, we are at a point of being at zero wealth by 2050. By the year 2050, COVID has sped that shit up dramatically. People who never thought that they were going to lose a job are out of jobs right now. We need somebody that's going to do something today. I do not have time for you to coddle moderate, what do I want to call them? The moderates, which were actually moderate, they're actually nice racists. I don't have time for you to coddle them. I don't have time for you. Why do we always have to make sure that they feel all right? I don't feel all right, I just don't get it. I understand because they have the vote, but then we have the political capital. So if we have the political capital,
But okay,
why are
okay.
you calling them?
Let me make a point right here then. Okay, because since you said that, I mean, this is the first time ever. I think with 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 everything that happened with the election and everything, I think the light finally came on to the black community, and it illuminated how much power we have as a voting bloc. Because Biden is president because of us. Warnock, Georgia is blue because of us. Okay, Warnock and Ossoff are going to Washington for one reason and one reason only, is because of the black vote. I don't know if you were watching CNN or watching the election results last week when they were counting the votes up, but for the majority of the night, Loeffler and Perdue were leading. Okay, but you know what?
Right.
They hadn't counted DeKalb County, Clayco, Gwinnett, Fulton County. So, and we knew, with like 95% of the precincts reporting in, Loeffler and Perdue were leading, but they hadn't counted the black counties yet. And we knew as soon as those votes started coming in for Fulton, DeKalb, Gwinnett, so on and so forth, it was going to flip, and bam, bam. We finally showed the world. We not just the United States, not just the state of Georgia. We showed the world what we can do, the power, the true power that we have in America, okay, as a voting bloc. Now that is what I call currency. We didn't have that currency a year ago, 2 years ago, even during Obama. We didn't have that currency then. And the Trump Hillary race proved, to a lot of folks that we still didn't get it. Okay? Because we stayed home. Because
They
of
didn't like the choices, but I can tell you that you had Obama to thank for that, unfortunately. And I know I'm touching a third rail on that one.
Yeah, you are. But I get it.
I did vote for him twice, but he messed it up when he had a chance to do a lot of things for black people, and then everybody's like, oh no, he don't do it. He don't do it the next term.
But Kellie.
And then he went the next term and he still didn't do nothing.
But Kellie.
And people lost faith. And then by the time Hillary and Trump got in there, you had people that gave protest votes, and you have people who just didn't vote at all.
Okay,
I say that by way of down ballot. Go ahead.
I am not going to be an Obama apologist. No way. But you got to keep something in mind. Okay, when you're the first of something, when you're the first of anything, especially in America, being the first black of anything, that is such a weight. There's just so much shit that you have to do. Okay, being an octopus won't suffice. I mean, you are pulled in 9,000 different directions every single waking moment. So I get it. It's like Obama had to be president not for 8 years. He had to be president for 400 years. He had 400 years of shit to clean up in 8 years. So I get it.
No, that's not true. No, I get what you're saying. I know what you're saying, like he couldn't do it. But let's think about it. When he got into office, the first time he got in office, what was the first thing he did? You remember?
No, I don't.
He signed the Lilly Ledbetter Act. That was for white women. They ain't had nothing to do with us. That wasn't something that needed to be done. He also signed a reparations bill for the people in Guam. But when Ta-Nehisi Coates asked him about reparations, he said he couldn't do it for the black people here in the United States because it would make immigrants upset. Like I give a shit. So it wasn't that he couldn't do it; he didn't want to do it.
I mean that's politics. That's politics.
Certain things that he had control of that he could have done, like he could have had the banks audited when the housing crisis happened, because 42 million black folks. No, not 42. I'm sorry. There were. I don't know what the number is. I don't know. I don't have the exact number. But there were too many of us, anyway, that lost our homes in the housing crisis. I have the number, but I don't have the exact. I don't want to say it. But my whole thing is that he had complete autonomy. He had an attorney general. He had all of that. He could have investigated those banks. He could have run an audit. He could have restored it. He didn't do that. What did he do? He threw $750 some Al Green and eat some chicken and I'm the first. No, I don't want you to be the last if you ain't going to do nothing when you get in there. Just saying you're the first. You're in the most powerful position in the United States of America, if not the world, on the world stage. And if you can't do nothing for me, I don't care who you are. I don't want you up there. I don't want you.
But
you
I mean,
no
it was
from the other ones that preceded you. As a matter of fact, he set us back even worse. I think he created like 100. No, I think he created like 10 million millionaires through quantitative easing. Obama did that. He did that for white folks. You can do that. You ain't that octopusy. You can help us out, bro. He didn't want to do it because it's going to piss off everybody else. I don't care. Everybody else wouldn't even be able to call this America but for my people. And I'm not saying we did it alone, but we started it. It was called the New World until we built it up to even be called America. That made it palatable for anybody else to even want to come over here. So I don't care if you're mad.
All I'm saying is, I can appreciate the fact that that man was in a no-win situation from day one.
He shouldn't have got there.
No matter what he did.
That's just me. They always say what they can't do when it comes to us. But when it's everybody else, he can do it. He can do stuff for the dreamers. He can do stuff for the Native Americans. He can hurry up and get an injunction real quick with the pipeline. He can do it for everybody else. So just go back and look. Just look at the history of what he's done. And everyone's like, well, you're not, he was trying to fight for health care. Don't you want health care too on Obamacare? Yeah, I want Obamacare, but you know what I want more? Better. I want to be restored. I want to be repaired, restored monetarily, because guess what? I could buy my own health care. I could buy my own health care.
Well, come on now. You know we ain't getting that check. Okay? So we ain't getting that check.
We'll get the check. No. We'll get the check.
No.
We'll get the check.
No, I'm telling you now. They will burn this motherfucker to the ground before we get that check. They will burn it to the ground.
That's why it's happening right now. That's what you see happening right now. Because see, what I think the people are worried about, they don't give us a check the same way that they handed everybody stimulus and munitions up there printing money like it's nothing. It's the same way that all the money that they gave away was the amount of money that they could have already paid in reparations. It's already been calculated. It's upwards in between $12 to like $20 trillion, and it's not just a check. It is an umbrella term that encompasses education. It encompasses medical. It encompasses housing. It encompasses businesses, not loans, grants. Just like they in the Hempstead Act, where they gave away land in the very beginnings of the United States, and locals, they said that 42% of the United States can track their families back to getting land, free land, acres and acres and acres from the Hempstead Act. I'm sorry, the Homestead Act.
Homestead Act, yeah.
I'm sorry, I said Hempstead. I don't know what I'm thinking. Homestead Act.
That's New York. Hempstead.
I don't even want to hear it. How about don't cut me no check? It's not even about the check, because the check is gonna just like. And then here's another thing, because that's why I said that argument was already dead when they hurried up and quickly gave everybody their stimulus. They didn't tell them to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, did they? I ain't hear nobody saying that. I said that, and they should have said it. Quit asking for a handout. You ain't gonna never get it. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Go get a job. Oh, can't get one. Pandemic. Ooh.
Go back home.
So you can't, whoever has that argument, I challenge you right now, when you can't pay your bill because somebody else, or let's put it this way, let's say you're the bill collector and you're calling to collect on your debt, because it's in your bill collector, you call and the person that owes you tells you, stop asking for a handout, and hangs up the phone. That's how we feel. Or go to work, and I don't care if you get paid weekly or bi-weekly, and go to your job, or go to your boss, or go to payroll, and get your check, and they tell you, quit asking for a handout. That's exactly what people that say that, or that dastardly about reparations, and getting crazy about it. You don't need, just asking for a handout. No, it's a debt that's due. It's not just about oh, I just need some money in my pocket. It is reparative, predatory loans and where they're going to only let black people look for houses and all this other crap. It's all by law. Government is by design, on purpose, so that we could be locked out of wealth. It is hurting us. It has been hurting us, and we need our damn check. Period. And it's not just a one-time fee. It happened over a 400-year period, and just like when you can break your leg like that, it takes it longer to heal. So it's not even a one and done. It ain't even about just write a check, sign it, stamp it, and I endorse it, and then we all run to the bank. No. There needs to be protections put in line so that we are a protected class to a certain extent, not even to a certain extent, so we are a protected class so that we don't end up handing that money back to the same people that were responsible, or the descendants of who are responsible, or living off of what we worked for, what our ancestors worked for to build. And that's just what it is. And I don't understand, and I do understand why it is such a controversial issue for two reasons. One, because black people have been made to feel ashamed to even say it or even talk about it. We've always been made to feel ashamed about it. And I'm sorry, I've never been that chick, so y'all can get out of here with that, and we can have that debate whenever they want. But also, two, white people and other immigrants or first generation whatever, they understand that the United States runs on a capitalistic hierarchy of which black people are at the bottom. That's the only way that they can keep their hierarchy. If we take ourselves out of the picture with reparations, they have to rearrange who's going to be their new bottom. And nobody wants a position. And guess what? I don't give a shit. It's not my problem. Give me my money. All right, I'll leave it at that. I'll breathe. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's a breath of fresh air, boy. You unloaded. You are unloading both barrels on me. Good Lord. Okay, that's all right though. That's fine. That's fine. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. All right. So, all right. We digressed a little bit, so let's steer it back a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
No,
that's quite all right.
I'm very passionate about that. I have a problem.
That's okay.
People are like, oh, that's too hard. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Okay. All right. Now let's circle back to the commander in chief here, the commander in least. Okay, so there was an ultimatum that was issued to Mike Pence. Said either you invoke the 25th Amendment, or we're gonna go ahead and
impeach him.
Yeah, impeach him. We're gonna give him the gas, and of course, once again. The lily-livered sapsucker that he is, yellow-bellied sapsucker that he is, Mike Pence, once again, got on his knees and bobbed his head for his boss and refused, minus the knee pads. He, so once again,
oh, he already had some.
So once again, he bowed his head to his master and refused to invoke the 25th Amendment. So now they're going to be impeaching Trump on tomorrow, making it the second time that he's been impeached. First time in history that an American president has been impeached. Go ahead, Kelly.
Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. You're cracking me up. I know what you're thinking. Mike Pence. All right, let me tell you what I think is going on with him. This is what I think is going on.
Go ahead.
He knows he gotta go home. Okay, and he's already seen that this mob was chanting to kill him. I don't know if you know that. And there was a noose they put a noose out there, and the noose was surprisingly it was for him. That was for him. That was Mike Pence's noose. So with that being said, you would think that the people are against you, whatever. I believe that he knows that just like the cops just turned on all of them, not all the cops, but too many of them, were a part of this. He doesn't know who to trust. He doesn't know what. So he knows if he goes against that grain and invokes the 25th Amendment, he may not wake up tomorrow. And I think he's afraid took an oath. You took an oath. So we get to see just how pussy he is, and then we get to see just how pussy the people are that voted for him. I'm calling you one. I don't care if you're like, well, I just thought it was good for business. No, you're an asshole. I'm telling you now, you're an asshole. White, black, purple, with polka dots. I love you to pieces. We're going to agree to disagree on that because there's no reason for you guys to vote those two idiots in there.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. If Mike Pence was in the hood, what would he be known as, or what would he be called if he was in the hood? This is a trivia question for you. What's the term for Mike Pence if he was in the hood?
Well, he be a pussy, but I'm trying to think because he hasn't. Actually, he's on code though. You know that, right? And I'm not changing the subject. He's on code.
Yeah, he's on code, but
he could have sold his buddy out. He's staying on code.
Yeah, but there's a term for that. There's a term for that. There's a term for that. You know, and a term of endearment in our community that he would be referred to as.
What?
Bitch made.
Oh no, that's not a. Yeah, he is bitch made.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, I thought you meant like for him being loyal to Trump. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bitch made. Oh yeah.
Yes, bitch made. Yeah. And
he's way bitch made. Oh hell yeah.
And see the thing is,
but I didn't know the word, but I got confused on what it was.
That's all right. That's all right.
Oh, good.
But I honestly believe that Mike Pence is bitch made, and he don't even know it. I think he is so clueless. I don't think he knows. I don't think he knows.
This is the guy that talks about praying the gay away.
That's what I'm saying.
Pray the gay away.
That's bitch made. Okay. So.
And that's not I think that's way bitch made. And like I said, not to disparage my LGBTQ family. I'm just saying this fool thinks you can go down the street and beat yourself across the back 2 times and say 2 prayers and you'll be cured of whatever your preference is, which is ridiculous, which makes me question what's really going on with him. That's why I said, yeah, he knows he's bitch made. He's bitch made. He's got a problem. This guy is just weird. But yeah, and the thing is, I'm sorry if I'm being loyal. We don't know what we do know. And let's just be real, Alonzo. We know what their MO was the whole time. When I say them, I'm talking about Congress. I'm talking about Pence. Everybody in and around Trump. While Trump was at the forefront doing his little shit sideshows and stuff and saying stupid shit and getting on social media and just saying dumb shit, and the media just running after him like, hey, what else stupid do you have to say today? They were behind the doors, passing laws and doing all kinds of shit that set us back like 20 to 50 years from now that we don't even know about yet. Just playing chess like a motherfucker. We don't know what's going on. So I think that's another reason why Pence just, like, hey, yeah, I'll be here to kind of pull his coattail a little bit if I feel like it, because really it's helping Mitch McConnell and his boys because they can just keep passing all these fucked up ass laws that keep fucking us up to be damned. So yeah, I guess I can deal with it.
Okay.
And I think that the threat to him from the mob at the Capitol was just another message, literally from your boy 45, to make him keep his mouth shut and not do that 25th Amendment thing because he wants to run again. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, and that's a perfect segue into what I wanted to ask you. Okay, he wants to run again in 2024. That is a non-starter. Okay, that cannot be allowed to happen. That cannot. So, by any means necessary, he cannot be allowed another run at it. I'm not saying that he will win because I don't think he would, but we need him out of the political landscape, period. We need to neuter his power now. And so we have the perfect opportunity to do that. And I think the way to do that is in exchange for your freedom, okay, you have to agree to never run for office again. Okay? So
no, I would never cut that deal.
That's the end game. I think that is the end game for him. Obviously.
So what's happening with the Southern District of New York, though?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's the point. That's the point. That's the point.
No, I know what you're saying. for
Yes.
the next 20
Yes.
years?
Why do you think?
Let's get him about the paint.
Why do you think he's fighting like hell to stay in office? He knows the clock is ticking, and he knows that the clock is going to strike.
I want him to, as soon as they need to hem him up.
But okay. But okay.
2024.
But okay. But you're Joe Biden. You're Joe Biden.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Donald.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. On January 19th, let's have us a sit down. This is what's going to happen. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. This is what's going to happen. Okay. You don't have to resign. You don't have to. You don't even have to show up at the inauguration. Okay. You can go to Mar-a-Lago. I'll let you take Air Force One. You'll get one last ride on Air Force One on me. Okay. But this is what's going to happen. Okay. Either you're going to take it or you're going to leave it. All right. I'm going to give you a pardon, and you're never going to run for office again, ever. You're going to leave. You are going to leave the political landscape today. You're going to tell all your followers and everybody, bye. We're not going to hear from you again. You're going to be O.J. Simpson. You're going to play golf, okay, and stay the fuck out of our way, okay? Or we're gonna unleash holy hell on your ass and make sure that you die in prison, Bill Cosby style, okay?
I think that's the better route. He should not be given any kind of a deal. He doesn't deserve the
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. But the end game, Kelly, the end game is, by any means necessary, this motherfucker cannot be allowed to have any more political power. Ever. Ever.
I agree.
Because I'm telling you right now, Donald Trump in prison does nobody a damn bit of good. Okay? He's still gonna be fucking hoes. He's still going. He's gonna have luxury. You know what I mean? It'll be like he's just in a resort for the rest of his life. It's not like he's gonna be in Gen Pop. Mopping floors. Nah, they're not gonna put him in Oz. Okay, he's not gonna be getting fucked in the ass by Adebisi. Okay, that ain't happening. Okay, so
he needs Khalif Browder treatment. Shout out, rest in peace to that brother.
No doubt. But
yeah, he needs the Khalif Browder treatment.
Yeah, he does. He does need the Khalif. Yeah, he does need the Khalif treatment, but he's not getting the Khalif treatment. We know that. Okay, so we need to get the one thing that that he craves the most. Okay, that's what's really going to hurt him. Not having that 80 million, that flock behind him anymore. Mm-hmm. You take that away, and this thing with Twitter and everything. I mean, that is a peek. That's a peek behind the curtain already. I know it's killing his fucking ass. I bet. Oh my God! I bet he's pacing the floor and everything. Got diarrhea, everything. I mean, I bet he's woo. Sweet Jesus. Okay, so we got him. We got him exactly where we want him, and we cannot let him off the hook. Okay. We cannot let him off the hook. And if I'm Joe Biden, that's the offer. You got about 15 minutes to make your decision, and the clock is ticking. You're gonna take this motherfucking deal and go the fuck away and have your freedom. All right. You can go live in Russia or wherever the hell you want to go. You get to run your business and still con people and do all your dirty deals and all the shit you've been doing for your entire life anyway. Because nobody gave a fuck about Donald Trump. Okay? Nobody gave a fuck about Donald Trump before he became president. I know I didn't. I could give a damn about this dude. Okay? Until he got into office. And I've said it more than once. I've said it a million times. I mean, it is not against the law to be racist. It's immoral. It's stupid as hell. But it's not a crime. It's not a crime to be a racist. I mean, it's not a crime.
It's a crime for you to act on it. It's a crime for you to act on it.
But what I'm saying is, it's not against the law to be racist. Okay, just to be racist. I ain't saying you gotta, you can go up in the Target talking about fuck all niggas, all that kind of stuff. No, you can't do that. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, but it's not against the law to feel that you're superior to another race of people. It's what you do about it that could,
Correct. If you act on it.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So, I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, did you give a damn about Donald Trump before he became president? About anything that he did?
Nope. No, the only thing I will let me
Mm-hmm.
be honest in case Nielsen comes
Mm-hmm.
back. I did watch um, Celebrity Apprentice, or I watched The Apprentice. I used to watch The Apprentice, right? I was just curious to see what it was about.
I never
And
watched it ever.
I did, and it was the one year that he chose this brother by the name of Randall. And Randall has been on the news, a contributor to certain stations because he's very disappointed in Donald Trump. Now, he was I say this, Trump was very likable on that show. Like, because some of the decisions that I was making in my own mind of how if it was my show, what I would do, he was actually doing it. So I was like, oh, okay, we're kind of on the same page about this, right? Now, fast forward to when Barack Obama was running, and then Trump did that birther shit.
Yeah.
That's where I was like, I'm done. Thank you. Show me who you are. Thank you. And, like, almost like I'm your master, you got to show me your papers. I'm like, bitch, if you don't get the hell, so I'll stop it there. But, I mean, like, that burnt me up. I mean, it was just ridiculous. Oh, I need to see his birth certificate. I'm like, you war dodger, draft dodger, if you don't get out of here, go join the military first, and then we'll talk about some paperwork.
Do you remember
that? Like, who are you?
Do you remember the look on Denzel Washington's face when he got whipped in Glory?
Yes.
That's how Obama was looking at Trump. That's how he was looking at Trump.
I know, like, ooh, right?
Motherfucker.
That tear, that anger tear, like, you
Yeah.
bitch.
Yeah.
Like, man, you're lucky he whipping me, because I swear to God, I'm so mad at you, I can't even feel the same.
I'm going to keep looking at you. You keep hitting me, I'm going to keep staring at your ass. Keep on.
That tear was an anger tear. I felt that. I've had that tear before.
Yeah.
I've had that tear before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, sir. Might have another.
That was a scene.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, so I just wanted to be, I'm not saying I'm being fair, but I'm saying just in case, whatever. But I just wanted to say my point is I gave that fool the benefit of the doubt until he started that birtherism shit. Mm-hmm. And then that's when I was like, okay, stop. I want to get off. I'm done. I mean, like, I could cut it off like a light switch. I was done with this because it just rubbed me the wrong damn way. I'm like, this is not antebellum slavery where we got to show you our papers. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah,
what the hell? You got me twisted. I'm the hopes and dreams of the slave. I'm not the slave.
Yeah, you got me fucked up, dude. Yeah, you definitely got me fucked up.
Wait. There's a big misunderstanding. You better get out the Time Wars. But now they got to deal with their own, though. So the monster that they never tamed has come back to bite them.
Okay, so I gave you my idea as far as getting rid of Trump.
Oh yes.
Okay.
With the deal. I don't think there should be any deal cut. I think this is where the sacrifice comes. Okay, I know you're like, oh no, it's a non-starter. You know how they tell us we need to let the system work?
Oh shit! Oh, come on now. Come on. Are you serious? Are you serious?
We need the same thing with the Southern District of New York. And look, y'all, you got your court system. Why don't we, let the facts go as far as they go? Let's let the system work, and and we're just gonna have to respect the law. I promise you, they will find something like they find something with us. And he will spend significant amount of time in jail.
No, it is not. Kelly, it is not going to happen. It is not going to happen. This is America. America is not going to put a president in prison. It's not going to happen. Even the most reprehensible president ever, America would not ever put a president behind bars.
You don't want the court, the law to play out.
No, this is not a movie. This is not A Few Good Men. Okay, right? He didn't order the code red, okay?
Love it.
Because deep down, in places you don't talk about at parties, you want me on that
We
wall.
have to let the system
No,
work. What,
no,
you think the system
no,
is broken?
no, no. It is not going to happen. Okay? Take that to the bank. There are two certainties in life. Okay? Well, three. There are three. There are three certainties in life. Okay? Death, taxes, and Donald Trump will never go to prison. All right? Why do you think? Why do you think he's trying to pardon? He's trying to pardon himself.
Oh, of course.
So
But
Biden has
the.
the.
You have faith in the Southern District of New York, and we not. I mean, you still
Do you play spades?
Michael Cohen's there.
No.
He wrote his book.
Kelly.
Omarosa gave some proof.
Kelly.
Everybody gave proof.
Kelly, do you play spades?
Yes.
Okay, right now Joe Biden has the big joker. Okay,
Okay.
he got the big joker.
Do you think
Right?
that making a deal with him, you promise you won't really? We talking about Donald J. Trump.
No, it's not gonna be a promise. No, this is gonna be in writing. This is gonna be locked in. You cannot run for president.
And then let's say he
No.
says, I'm running, because he has a galvanized group of people already.
No.
As we can see.
No. He's gonna. He's gonna. He no. He no. He,
accepted their money.
no. We're gonna get it.
He's
We
got
no.
back
No.
channels of
No.
which they're all meeting.
No.
He's
We're gonna get.
talking
No.
about getting his own social media.
No, Kelly, we're going to get a wet signature. Not a DocuSign. It's going to be a wet signature. Okay? We're going to get a wet signature witnessed, okay? Witness and co-signed. Witness, notarized. It can be notarized and co-signed and everything. We're going to get his wet signature that your ass can never, ever operate in politics again. You can't even tweet about a candidate. Ever. You can't have no rally.
His or else.
Huh?
What is his or else if he does? Because I'm trying to figure out how. Just think about it. Okay, you've got a large following, and there's somebody telling you that's it. You can't be on whatever platform anymore. That's it. You got to promise that you can't do it. But you got all these people galvanized, hungry, chomping at the bit. Literally, if you just.
Look at it this way. Look at it this way. He's got 80 million people he could sell Trump steaks to. Okay? All 80 million can sign up for Trump University. I mean, that is your pot. That is his pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That is his pot. That is his pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Because them stupid little motherfuckers will write a check for him at his behest at any time. He's proven that.
Yep.
Because he's raised almost $300 million since the election.
Yeah.
Okay, now all that money is going in his pocket.
Get that back?
No, it's going in his pocket. Okay, all that money, yes, going in his pocket. It's the grift of a motherfucking lifetime, and that's why he did this. Yeah. So okay, we're gonna say okay, yeah, you can take your 80 million plus fools, okay, and you can milk that cow. You and your family can milk that cow for the rest of your days.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
Just leave the rest of the shit to us. And you put that shit in writing, boom, you got it. If not, we're gonna rain down holy hell on your ass. You might not go to prison, but your legal fees and all that money you get from these fools, it be going to your legal fees. We gonna
I hope so, because that's what I want. I want him. I truly
keep your ass in court.
Anybody like him, I want them punished. When I say punished, I want you crippled financially.
Yeah. He already broke. I mean, he's already broke anyway. I mean, so we gonna make you broke. Broke.
Back deals he's been doing, and what Ivanka and Jared have been doing. Are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. They've made money. They've made a lot of money. And which is joked why they said Ivanka won't really say anything because she's afraid she'll get written out of the will. But they made money. That's why a lot of white folks don't say stuff to their little racist ass family members that be sitting down at the dinner table eating dinner with them because they're afraid they will get written out of the will. And I'm not saying they're all sitting on bucks, but they're sitting on enough enough that they don't want to be left out or whatever's going on. I know a dude right now whose parents left him out of the will, and I don't know what happened. I don't know what his story is, but he has never recovered. He's like an alcoholic now over that.
Oh, damn.
Because the parents gave it to the other brother. And this guy is not young. I mean, it's a white dude. I mean, but he has just never recovered from his parents. You know, I guess when the will was read, he didn't get shit. They gave it all to the other brother, and he was crushed.
Was it like a Jehovah's Witness or something?
So I thought, wow, that's how money affects y'all like that? Then shoot, that's how we need to start putting it. You start at zero, you don't get nothing. When you get out, you start at zero, and that's if you get out. But right now, you're just a zero, so now you got to, everybody. I mean, it affects everybody. It affects your wife, your children. We gonna socialize the failure. They want to socialize their wealth with the capital. I mean, no, they don't want to socialize. They want to be selfish with the capitalism of it, but they want to socialize the failure with everybody else. No, I want to socialize the failure on them. And that's what you want to see them jumping out of buildings like the Great Depression. Take their money.
Like 9/11, boy. They could be.
Right? Just poof. No disrespect to them.
Yeah, no disrespect whatsoever.
So,
no disrespect
no
whatsoever.
disrespect, because that broke my heart when that happened to this day. I really have some kind of kindred connection to just New York City, because I've always wanted to live there, and I did live there for about 9 years.
Oh, by the way, thanks for reminding me. I'm sorry, I mean to cut you off, but
go for it.
There was something I wanted to ask you, and this is totally off topic, okay? But I'm going to ask you this, okay?
Go for it.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Have you ever been in a music video?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And I'm asking you this question because there's this one music video that I saw, and to this day, I can swear to God it's you. But obviously I never had a chance to ask you if it was you. Okay? It was a rap group.
Yeah, I was in a...
It was a rap group.
Oh, the rap group? Okay, I was in a rap video, but it wasn't a rap group.
Okay. So it wasn't you.
It's a rapper. Yeah. Well, you know what? There was, but it was... Okay, let's put it this way. I don't know what the date was, but I'll tell you that might have been footage that might have been used, because it was, and I'm dating myself, y'all. Lord have mercy. This was right about the time when Kenan Ivory Wayans was about to come out with In Living Color. And that's all I'll say about that. It's around that time. And then around that time frame. So if you know what years that came out.
That was the late 80s, early 90s.
And there was one big video, but everybody was in that one. So if you're talking about raw bass, everybody was in that.
No, that's not doing it. No.
Everybody on the block was in that one. Huh?
The video that I'm talking about was De La Soul. So.
No, I was not in their video.
Okay. All right.
I know
I always
what you're
wondered.
talking about. No.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. I say that because I have to see the video, and I would know exactly.
So somebody's told you that
but
before.
It wasn't me.
So somebody's told you that before? They thought it was you?
Yes.
Or? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Because
okay.
and I'll say that, and I say this because there was a lot going on. And that was right around the time when I was living in New York, and I was dancing at Alvin Ailey. I was actually, in their apprentice, doing their scholarship program, and it was a bunch of stuff going on. But anyway, and it was a fun time in my life. But right around the corner from where that establishment was, there was a recording studio, because they've been in two places. And that one recording studio is where, unfortunately, where all the Tupac baby stuff happened. But that was, a little bit later. But anyway, but I think, and also there was a school for gifted children, and these were like all the celebrity children that were there. So what I say is that there were a lot of celebrities in and around that area. But that's also, too, we would also find out through Alvin Ailey about different auditions and things of that nature. And so we would go and audition for different things. But even though they would videotape sometimes you would be on set, and sometimes they would use the footage from auditions as well. And it'd just be like the blocking, or just doing a, what I want to say, doing like a screen test, lighting or whatever, and that'll be the end of it. You'd be there for the video, and then you'd be there for a light test, and then there'd be a scene in the video. You're like, oh my god, so that's all it was gonna be. And then there are some that you're actually guessing. So yeah, so it's weird that you say that, because I had some calls before from a family member of mine in Connecticut. He swore up and down there used to be this Tide commercial.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Alvin Ailey dancers, but they were dancing in ballet shoes, but they had socks over the ballet shoes, so they could show like the dirt and how Tide cleaned them. But they only showed them like for 2 seconds, then they showed them from like the feet down for the whole commercial. My uncle kept telling everybody in town it was me. I was like, dude, it's not me.
I know those feet anywhere.
Tell me what my feet look like.
Yeah, I know those feet anywhere.
I'm like, come on, man. But no, I can't take credit for that.
Okay.
I wish I could.
I always wondered about that. I was like, is that her? Is that her?
I like
Okay.
so too. I
Okay.
see them on the train all the time.
Right on. Okay. All right. We got one more topic to discuss. Okay. One more topic to discuss. We're coming up on 2 hours. Wow, time flies. Got one more topic.
Oh my God, I didn't realize. I'm so sorry about that.
I know. No, it's all good. I love you.
Yeah, because I can talk, y'all. I'm sorry.
Nah, it's all good.
You're going to edit it, and then you'll be like, let me get it down to something people listen to.
Nah, it's all good. It is all good. It is all good. Okay. All right. So and obviously, we talked about a lot and everything. Now, one of the things that constantly concerns me when it comes to the state of America and where we are right now is our children. Okay? All right. So look into the crystal ball 10, 15, 20 years down the road. Okay, when both of us too old to do anything about it. Okay? What is your outlook for our children as far as how, because I think we're handing them a mess right now. Okay, I think we have regressed as a people and as a country and everything to a point where, because I was talking about this with a friend of mine just last night. I did a show last night with another guy, Derek Mack, if you're out there listening. What up? We did a show last night. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm agreeing. I'm saying.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So we did a show last night. We were discussing this, and I just lost my train of thought. Damn it! I hate it when that happened. what was I gonna say?
About the children, where they're gonna be in 15 years.
Okay, so what we were discussing was that when I was a child, 10, 15, 8, 9, 10, 15 years old or whatever, right? I don't remember, I grew up in Georgia. I don't remember it being this bad as it is now. Back then, I mean, once again, growing up in the deep south and everything, there was always, racism and strife and all this kind of stuff or whatever, right? But now it's like you can cut it with a fucking knife. You know what I mean? And it's just so blatantly out there. And this has all happened since 2016, where, President Trump, I hate saying the word, I'm glad I'll never have to say President Trump again. Trump, okay, made racism sexy again in the United States of America. He made folks comfortable with being outwardly racist again. Now they don't have to just do it behind closed doors. They can do it out front and feel somewhat emboldened by it. You'll still get your ass whipped, you know what I mean? But it's like they're willing to take that ass whipping. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like that before. I mean, so what is the outlook for our kids now that the cat's been let back out the bag and it is now again sexy to be racist? Go.
For our children.
Yeah.
Well, I think to be honest, for our children, I think our children, believe it or not, are at a better advantage.
How? How's that?
Because it's not that things have gotten worse.
Okay. I'm sorry. Let me cut you off right there. Let me put a bug in your ear. Okay, your daughter is 13. Okay. All right. Okay. It's 2021. You do realize that your 13-year-old daughter, can be bullied by somebody who lives in Bangladesh.
Correct. I'm getting ready to go there right now.
Okay. All right. Go. Okay. I just want to plant that seed. Okay. I want to plant that seed. Now go ahead.
No. I want you to. No, feel free, so I can. Because what you're saying is what I'm getting ready to speak to.
Go ahead. Do your thing.
The difference is, because I think that based on how we were raised, because we're pretty much the same age and around the same time,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things that we see now were going on then. Just now it's different because now it's televised. Now you can see it on your phone. Now you can see it on TV. Now everybody can broadcast. That's the only thing I think that has really changed is technology. Because I say it to say this. And I remember even in the 90s, what was the big thing in the 90s? Like with X-Clan, it was very conscious type of rap. It was conscious type of talking. You had Meme, you had
Native tongues.
Public Enemy.
Yeah.
You had all of that, right?
Yep.
So it wasn't that wasn't going on. You had the movies Do the Right Thing. You had School Days. And I'm just giving some quick, for instances of the kind of quality or the type of flavor of what was going on. So
New Jack City.
It was tense then. Yeah. Exactly. It was tense then. It's just that we can find out about it faster because of technology. And that's what I think it is. I think that it's, as far as, with our children and what they're seeing, it's different for them, but it's a gift and a curse because I think our children, more often than not, just see each other spirit to spirit, child to child, or kid to kid. That's what I really think. I'm not saying every of them, they're all skipping arm in arm or whatever, but it's just a matter of personality. They like you or they don't, until they get all tainted by their parents and all this other stuff and take on different ideologies. So for the most part, I think that it's they're more of the melting pot that people imagined, or what the imagined United States is supposed to be. That's what I think the next generations that are coming up are. Because you see the blends, and I'm not making a judgment one way or the other, but because of that, and then let's say that somebody can cyberbully you from wherever, from Bangladesh or wherever's going on. Yeah. But here's the thing. The same way that you're cyberbullying me is the same way that I can still, without me even getting to Bangladesh, I could get somebody to touch you in Bangladesh. So see, they know it goes both ways. That's why you have your hackers, where they can encrypt themselves and encrypt so you can't find them, because they know, just like they dish that shit out, that somebody can dish it right on back without even, just like you bothered me without touching me, I can get to you without even touching, without my hands even getting dirty. So it goes both ways. I think it's a Russian roulette with that one. I say that figuratively, because that shit can go both ways. You get some people that just don't realize what they bought into when they get into it. I'm talking about with our children. But for the most part, because they're born into this technology, they're born into this age, it's going to be like
But Kellie.
To me, it's like the baddest of the baddest. And because you know what it's like when your kids are born. I'm sure you handed them a phone and they were showing you pages on your phone at like a year old that you had never even seen on your phone, and they knew how to get there. They were probably upset if you tried to grab the phone from them. They're born into. So my whole point is that I think it's a different mentality and it's a different focus.
But okay, but keep something in mind. Keep something in mind. Okay, all right. Okay, your 13-year-old daughter, okay, is a threat. I mean, she is literally a threat, and we know this. Okay, Tamir Rice, Ahmaud Arbery,
yep.
Okay, Trayvon Martin,
Guess what though? She knows that, and that's where the problem lies.
But what I'm saying is,
children in general. But if you're talking about our black children need to be aware. They can't just skip through life like everything is fine.
But we could. That's the point. That's the point, Kellie. That's the point. When you and I were 13, it wasn't like that. We didn't have that issue when we were 13.
Well, my house was a little different. My house was a little different because my mother was very, I won't say that she was militant, but she constantly made us aware of things of that nature. She constantly made us aware of, like, all in-laws. Your mom and even your parents have had this conversation with you. You can't do what they do. You can't, just because they're doing it, and meaning white folks, because white folks are doing it, guess who's going to go to jail?
Yeah.
Don't get in the car with them, because you get in the car with them and somebody's got something on them, you going too. Or, so I've had this all my life. I knew that there was a difference. I knew there was a difference when I went to school. I knew, and this was the humdinger because I was originally from New Britain, Connecticut, and I spoke very prim and proper, and my mother was from Houston, Texas. So and I ended up going to school in Texas for like, and you know that because I ended up beating you later on after I came back from college, visiting back and forth, in San Antonio. But I had to literally at school had to fight. I had to fight both sides because I had the black kids calling me Oreo because I spoke proper, and I had the white kids that were calling me nigger. I got it both sides. Because I know people are like, oh, that sounds so cliche. The thing is that when it was explained to me why that is, then I understood over time. It wasn't an instant thing. But I know now, looking back and even through my own travels of things that I've had to go through and research and things that I chose to just find out more about, that once you realize and you understand the reasoning behind why this happens, and you know how to navigate better. And that's what I'm saying about our kids. So it's not like we're just, unless, and there are some people out there that's doing that, but information is so readily available at the fingertips, that they can't not know, and we can't leave it up to them to just know it. It's something that we need to tell them, and with the hopes that things will be better. But until that time comes, this is what it is now. And I think that's the best way to arm them. And I think with that type of armor, with that type of knowledge, then 10 to 15 years down the line, they will be better for it. And that's why I said what I said to begin with. I think that now I'm just saying they're going to be totally fine and going to have an S on their chest and da-da-da-da, we've just made it. I wish, that is my hope, that is my prayer. But I think they're going to be way better off than we are. I really do, because of the information of what we know now, what we're seeing now. There's a reason why we're seeing what we're seeing right now, because it's things that were suppressed, that we, not us personally, but over time, that either we just didn't see or we chose not to see because we were okay as long as we were sitting down watching Bill Cosby, we thought everything was okay, but all this shit was still happening. Dude was still getting drugged behind a truck in Jasper, Texas.
Yeah.
There was still things going on. Rodney King was getting the shit beat out of him. So it wasn't not going on. It was going on. It just wasn't, you didn't have like 8 million people sending that picture or that thing going viral. And now you got to couple with a pandemic. Everybody's home now. So it's not just somebody was at work and then they just missed the news tonight. They didn't hear about it, and it wasn't the talk at the water cooler the next day at work. So I think it's because we're in a different time. I think that our kids are better for it. That's just me.
I don't agree.
That's fine.
At all.
We have a discussion.
Yeah.
We have a discussion.
It's a debate. It's a discourse here. I don't agree, and I don't agree for a lot of different reasons. Now, everything that you said is 100% true. I in that account, I agree with you 100%. But where we differ is that, and correct me if I'm wrong here. You don't have to agree with me, but it is my opinion that America circa 2021 and beyond, we have basically segregated ourselves into tribes. We're tribal. You got conservatives, you got liberals, you got moderates, you got racists, you got progressives, you got black, you got white, you got Indian, you got immigrants. Everybody has a fucking label now. Okay, LBGTQ. Everybody has a label. Everybody has a tribe that they belong to. Trans, you name it. There's a label in a group. There's a bucket for everybody now. Okay, and once you're put into that bucket, anyone who's not in your bucket is your mortal fucking enemy. And it's hard to reach out, outside of your tribe, you know what I mean, and accomplish anything. We have echo chambers, okay? All right, social media, I mean, I'll use my own social media as an example. You know what I mean? It's like, I post something or whatever, and I'll get 30, 40, 50 likes. It'll be from the same people. Yeah, Alonzo, yeah, this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? It might be one or two dissenters that jump in there, but they're doing it to troll me. Okay? All right? And, like, for example, this whole situation is going on with Parler. Okay, okay, everybody left. All the conservatives, all the racists, and everything left. Are leaving Facebook and Twitter to go to Parler because Parler allows them to be openly racist. Okay, and so that is what we have become. Either you're watching Fox News or you're watching CNN. All right, or you're watching MSNBC or you're watching Newsmax. You're watching Alex Jones or you're watching the Young Turks. Everybody is, it's like everybody has segregated themselves. And our young people, okay, you know, are being brought up in that type of an environment. So I see America 20, 30 years from now, when our kids are running things or whatever, it being even worse because technology is here to stay. Okay? It ain't going to change. I mean, technology is going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to segregate us and keep us away. Now, this friend I was talking to last night, he told me something I never heard of before. I was telling him, I was kind of lamenting how when we were, our teenagers or whatever, every Friday night where we grew up, whatever, right? Every Friday night there'd be a dance at this high school gym that we could go to, and everybody hang out, have a good time, dance, have some drinks, go home, whatever, and go cruise or whatever on Friday night. On Saturday night, everybody went to the skating rink and just hung out and had fun. Folks don't do that anymore. He told me now kids do something called kickbacks. Have you heard that before? That term? Okay, I had never heard that term before. I had no idea what. Yeah, I had no idea what kickbacks were until last night. But in my opinion, it kind of proves my point. Okay, now people don't get together where there can be a bunch of strangers that you've never seen before from across town, but everybody's congregated at the same place, and you make a friend with somebody that you probably never met before. Yeah.
Okay, let me give you another one so you can pick up on it, and you can ask your kids about this. Ask them about Addies.
Who?
You know about Addies? ADDY?
No.
Addies.
What's that?
Okay. What it is it's the same thing as it's another version of kickback. So you do. What happens is there's different people on social media. And let's say that there's a house that's Airbnb or whatever, they'll just flash the address. And
oh, wow.
Hundreds of people from wherever will just show up there and they have a party or whatever, and then somebody will show an address. So this address, Addie, is what it's called. And that's a big thing. I'm just ask your kids about it and watch them go, oh, yeah, I know about Addie's. So I'm just telling you, just so, and for everybody else out there who has got teenagers or...
I never heard that term before.
Party. No. Yeah, there's a call. That's how these parties that you heard, in the middle of this pandemic where cops have been going arresting people that just showed up in seconds, like hundreds of people that showed up in seconds. That's why it was an Addie.
Wow.
An Addie.
I had no idea.
Yeah, but anyway, so you were saying about you're doing the counterpoint to my point. So. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I'll let you finish.
That's the crux of my counterpoint is that we have just resegregated ourselves. Is not Jim Crow type segregation, but I think in a lot of ways is probably even worse. I mean, because we are so.
See, I don't think that. I'm not saying that we've never been. There's never really been an integration. And
but what I'm saying is,
we've always been segregated.
But what I'm saying is,
there's different versions of it, though, Alonzo. Because you're saying, I have to go to your point, though, when you were saying about all the different tribes. Those are distinctions without differences. And I'm not saying all to disparage any of those groups that I am trying to disparage a few of those that you mentioned, but with the exception of a few, the others. A lot of them that you mentioned is just basically just different factions of racism. Because a lot of them, when they do come here, or whatever title that you've just given them as a quote-unquote a tribe, a lot of them do the bidding or do dumb stuff to us, to our children, to us as a people, to black people, to show their allegiance to white people. And that includes the LGBTQ. Because when I say black people, that includes my black LGBTQ. That includes that means I'm including them. There's no distinction because they're black first. Because when a cop pulls them over, the cop doesn't know that they're LGBTQ. The cop doesn't know that they saw a nigga in a car, and they could possibly do whatever they can do with their, qualified immunity and murder you with impunity. And that's all they know that they get to do with you. And you could be a hashtag tomorrow. But so when you say that, that's just how it's been. And that's not anything different. You're just seeing it being more definitive. It's becoming clearer what it has always been. That's what it is. We've always had people come into this country from another country that can leapfrog over us and do whatever they got to do because they don't have all of the systemic crap that's in our way as a group that has held us back. Well, I'm not saying like somebody like, oh, it's just holding me back, I just can't do nothing. We've tried. I mean, we try and we still are trying. I mean, how many different massacres do I need to give you the dates of where we were thriving like nobody's business, but we got destroyed to be damned because we were getting too far ahead of other people. And even right now, even like you said, you got the Latinos, you got the this, you got the that, but if you look at the people at the Capitol, I saw Latinos in there. I saw one black dude, and he wasn't even, I'm not saying he wasn't black, he's black in skin tone, but he wasn't a U.S. black person. I'm not saying that there wasn't one there.
Yeah, but you're talking about, but you're talking about one person. I mean, that's like giving a whale a tic tac.
I know that, but the thing is, get that. But my point is, he still would be classified under immigrant. Mm-hmm. But my point is that even with those distinctions, that's still not a difference for what he was standing for. And I'm not saying that they're all standing for that. I'm just saying that there's too many, and it's been like that for quite some time. And I can even give you a reference. There is a book called Making Hispanics. That's just one book, and it talks about how the Hispanic group even came to be called Hispanics because they weren't called that when they came here in the 60s in droves. They are not this. It was an actual politically fabricated term because when they first came here, from whatever country you wanted, if it was Cuba, Honduras, if it was Mexico, if it was whatever Spanish-speaking country you want to imagine in your brain.
Yeah, but then there were spics and wetbacks.
It's not. Say what now?
Yeah, but then there were spics and wetbacks.
Right, that came up because they were being disparaged at some point, but guess what? 95% of them, not just the ones that they're using that term with, mm-hmm. but 95% of them across the board, given whatever nationality, whatever geographical location they came from, when they get here as a citizen, they fill out the census. Guess which box they check on the census. 95%. You can actually put, anybody can Google that right now. Just put 95% of immigrants check what box on the census. There's a whole article on that. 95% of them check white. The problem is that they came here, were able to be white. I don't care if they're even darker than me, darker than you. They could still put white. Because and what that did, what happened was, even though they were doing that, or being classified, or being allowed to be that, they felt, I'm talking about the immigrant, the Hispanic group, now what they're classified as, didn't feel like they were being treated white enough. So then they felt like they were being disparaged, and then that's when they started to become a minority, and that's when they decided to galvanize across the board as a Hispanic group. That's how that happened, because when the black people, our ancestors, fought for the Civil Rights Act, and they saw that black people were actually getting some set-aside, they were like, wait a minute, we need some of that action. And they galvanized that way. That's why you have Cubans that will vote Republican, but then you have a Mexican on the border that will vote Democrat. They don't do the same thing. And I do say this, that whole big, giant Latino, Hispanic group that everybody thinks is so large needs to be disaggregated. They need to be got by their nationality. Cubans need to be a voting bloc by themselves, from the Mexicans, from the Puerto Ricans, from the Dominicans, from the Hondurans. It needs to be, and you will actually see what's going on, because a white Cuban, hello Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, do not have the same interest as the Mexican in San Antonio, hello Julian Castro. There's differences there. everybody puts them into one group. They don't vote like they should, and they didn't even vote like they should have for Biden. But in his first 100 days, guess who he wants to do something for? Even though black folks were the one that put him in there. So that's why I'm saying I hear what you're saying, but if you really look at what you're saying and who you're labeling what, they aren't tribes. They're just different sects of the same thing. It's like saying, okay, I have a chocolate cake, but I've got a chocolate cookie, and I've got a chocolate. It still has a common denominator. It still has it's not really that different. It's a distinction without it. They all got the same main ingredient. And I'm saying a lot of them, too many of them are here doing the bidding of white supremacists, showing their allegiance because they like second place. They're never going to challenge trying to be in the top. And we're not even trying to do that. We just want our shit so we can be left the fuck alone and live our lives. We've always galvanized like that because, I love John Henrik Clarke, even though he's not alive anymore, but he says about our people, he's a historian, great man. He says that, for black people as a whole, just our nature, we are a beautiful humanity. We just want to get along. That's why we just want to we don't want no trouble. We really don't want any trouble. We really don't. We really, when you think about it, we really don't. We really just want to get along and just be in harmony. But our brethren on the other side don't live like that. They got a bloodlust to kill. They like death and destruction, conquering and destroying shit. Everything they do is a movement for war. And we can't, as a group, get our heads around that. Because we don't navigate that way. So unfortunately, we have to think like the devil in order to beat the devil. It's kind of like the firemen, when they're fighting the wildfires, they have to fight it with fire. They have to burn the area to keep the fire from coming that direction.
Yeah.
But proverbially or figuratively, black people will be like, oh, I don't think I should fight it with fire. It's not right. No, when you're engaging with your enemy and they're showing you that they have no moral rules of engagement, then you shouldn't have any in defeating them. There's no reason. Like, say for instance, Lori Loughlin, Aunt Becky from Full House.
Yeah.
That paid for her daughter to go to cheated her way her dumb ass into USC.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
What are you, and this is a rhetorical question, but what do you tell your child about not cheating and do what's right when you got somebody over here reaping the benefits that didn't do? So I'm not saying that my child needs to be dumb and not do it, but I'm saying in a warfare world, then I should be telling my child, we're going to find a way to cheat you in there too, even though I would not do that. But I'm just saying, that's how diabolical they are, and that's how diabolical we need to be as far as defeating them or getting them to know that you can't navigate in that space around us. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I think that we need to get our children geared for. But I was speaking for myself because of things that I'm involved in, and I know how I steer my daughter, so to speak, until she's able to, get the message. Because my daughter has had some life lessons of her own at her own school, and to the point even as far back as kindergarten when I had to try to explain this to her. But now she gets it now. She sees it. But I told her that once you understand what you're seeing, then your life becomes very free, because it doesn't shock you. And I say that to say this is what I told her, because there was some funkiness going on in her school, and I've had to check them many times. But I let her know, more often than not, and I'm not saying all, more often than not, too many. I said, when white people do fickle stuff, don't be surprised. When they do nice things, be surprised and be on alert. Period. And I know that you've got friends and you've got girlfriends and all sort of stuff, but it's the pit bull mentality that they have with us. I could like one pit bull because he was the nicest pit bull to me, but that doesn't mean I like the entire breed, because of the stereotypical reputation that particular breed has. But this one right here that I see next to me, that's the one I like. That's how they treat us in their circles, and they, whether or not they know it, to the forefront, or it's just what's the word I'm looking for? It might just be second nature. They're not even realizing that they're doing it. Because a lot of people will tell you, and I know you've heard it before, I like you, you're not like the other ones. What does that mean?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You were the nice pit bull. You were the nice one, not all the other stuff. Because they run around chasing myths. And the thing is not that we, as black people, are bad. We're not bad. And I'm not making excuses for us, but a lot of stuff that we do as far as crime is concerned, 95% of our crimes are poverty crimes, which goes right back to the reparations argument. We don't go around just cutting people's eyes out and playing with them like click-clacks because we just want the people to look like to kill somebody. We beat you over the head because I need to feed grandma today, or I needed to get the baby some diapers, or I needed to get gas because I gotta, if I'm late one more time, I'm lose my job and now I can't pay my rent.
Yeah.
So ours are poverty crimes, and I'm not making an excuse to mean you can go and harm someone, but I'm saying we got different agendas. So for us, when you say tribes, I don't see it that way. I see it as you have a group of people, meaning our people, who have been tethered to the bottom. It has always been separate for us. It has always been that way. There's not been a time when it has not. It may have felt like things were better at one point when, mom and dad and grandma, they were working at the plant, and they got their 401k and, they got the house and they got the this and they got the that. That was one little period until all that shit started drying up. Hello, Flint. That shit started drying up like nobody's business. And see what I'm saying? So it might have seemed like it was good, but they were being used. And basically the white folks or Ford plant that came in there, even Flint now, basically used them like a damn flea on a dog, parasite, sucked everything out of them and then left. I mean, so did they really do you a favor? Life was good for a minute, but now it's not. So it just, that's why I see it, we see it differently. And I'm glad we agree to disagree because I like to hear your perspective. I just see it differently, and I'm not just sitting here just trying to see it differently. It's just that there's a lot of different things. I'm not saying a lot of different things. There's a lot of, obviously, of talk, like I said, of the reparations, but there's also a lot of work being done behind the scenes and nationwide with the reparations conversation, to the point that, there are bills being drawn up. As a matter of fact, there's an AB, Assembly Bill 3121 that just got passed in California in October by Governor Newsom, who's, well, I'm not going to disparage him. He at least had a moment of clarity. But he passed that bill, that's the reparations bill for California.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and I'm saying that to say this is that there are, like you said, you have a right, you could be as racist as you want to. The whole thing is that they, and I think, with races, because racism basically is bigotry with your power. It means you have the power to oppress me economically, financially, and physically.
Yep.
And I want to be in a position where you can't do that to me anymore. So if that means, so that means if I need to be financially and economically, socioeconomically stable, then you can call me nigger from all the way across the street. But guess what? I know you won't come over here and test me because I have the finances to match wit for wit, army, weapon for weapon, lawyer for lawyer, doctor for doctor. We can go there now. And then it's less likely to even happen because they have to find somebody else to pick on.
Yeah, because the power ain't there.
You can't do it with me.
Yeah, the power's not there.
They victimize us because they hate us because we're black. They victimize us because we're poor.
Yep.
That's the only one they victimize us. They punch down. And let me give you the for instance so you understand what I'm saying. So everybody doesn't think like, oh, she just keeps talking about white people. I want to justify why I'm saying that. I'll give you a vicious cycle. Picture a poor black neighborhood. Now, you live in Atlanta. My nephew went to Morehouse. My brother went to Morehouse. I know how Atlanta is set up a little bit. So anyway, but picture any poor, and I don't say poor, black area in anywhere USA. What comes with that area? Cops. Why do the cops stay there? Because they left all those suburbs and all those passed up all those meth labs and opioid parties and everything else to come to your neighborhood. Because they know they can give you a ticket, they know they can stop you, they can go over there and harass your ass to be damned. Now here's where the cycle is, because they eat off of our failure. Our failure is their money. So they stop you and give you a ticket. That's money for the city, for the state. The cop also gets paid to do his job. Now you go to the jail gets money for that. You get a bench warrant, or you can't go, or you gotta do some more time. So now you're going to prison. So now the prison gets money, the judge gets money, the court gets money. It's a vicious cycle, and then the same cop and the judge and the bailiff and the warden and all the COs and everybody else that works. Guess what happens when they get their paycheck? They go back to their white neighborhoods and spend their money. There's money in our failure. That's why they don't want. That's why I'm saying with all these other tribes. With the other, and people say, well, is Ilhan, what's her face in Minnesota? If she were to get stopped, they see her as a black person. Omar, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's true. But here's the thing: she would be stopped, but at the same time, that is an instance of racism, where the fact she's not spinning her wheels in systemic racism. There's a whole difference. And there's also too, I'll leave you with this, Alonzo, so you can get a word in, because I could go on for days. But there is an article, and I have to punch in the line. I took a screenshot of this article, because the person that posted it didn't have it where you could hit the link. But it was talking about, in the 50s, how the United States was trying to figure out how to come up with like a certain pin or an emblem that black immigrants could wear that were coming here to the United States, so they wouldn't get harassed. They didn't use that word, but they would be distinguished from the U.S. blacks that were here. And that was, so even the immigrants then knew that there was a difference. So that's why I'm saying what I'm saying as far as the tribes. They knew then that there was a difference. They just didn't want to get caught up in whatever's going on, and that is an actual article. It was a story of in the 50s, some black, I think it was a African nationalist, but he went to get his hair cut, and he went into a white barbershop, and the barber said, when he sat in the chair, because he didn't know, and the barber said, I don't cut niggers' hair.
Ooh.
And so he said, that's great, because I'm not a nigger. And he's like, oh, your accent, where are you from? And proceeded to cut his hair.
Wow. Okay.
So
I hear you. Okay.
So that's why I'm like, and I'm not saying that's all, but I'm just saying that they knew then. They know that there's a difference. There's a difference. So when they get stopped, if I'm talking about the Ilhan Omar, I can never say this chick's name. I'm just using, I don't even know why I'm going to her as a name, but using her as an example. But the thing is, a lot of times when they get stopped, they get offended because it's mistaken identity. They got mistaken for one of those niggas. It's a different feel there. It's a different paradigm. But when it comes down for the set aside, the funny part of it, then it's, oh, brother, I'm black like you, brother. I'm black like, no, I'm black like you, brother. And they don't even use that term in their own country.
Brother?
They don't even use African American in their own country. They do it here because when you come, that means that certain things that were meant for like me, you, and your children, they can get on it too. So that's another reason why there's this, the immigrants will get mad. Yeah, they'll get mad because their whole paradigm will get shifted. You can't springboard off of the blood, sweat, and tears of my ancestors and everything that we've worked for and everything that I'm eating the failure of and being disenfranchised of so that you can propel. And you came here in 1990 and I've been here all my life. Really? And it's not a bad thing that you're propelling, but then you've got to know that when we have more black men in the United States that are incarcerated than women in the entire world that are incarcerated. And did you understand what I said?
Yeah.
We have more black men incarcerated in the United States than women in the entire world that are incarcerated. That is by design. That's orchestrated.
13th
that's
Amendment.
On purpose. That's by design.
13th Amendment.
So that's why I'm saying that's not it. That's why I'm saying I go back to the tribe thing. I don't think it's tribes. I think it's either you racist or you're not. That's what it is. And we got two types of black people: the ones that either stop picking the cotton or the ones see what's going on. If they see an incident going on, they jump in. Not saying there's got to be a physical thing, but you see it for what it is, and you have other ones that see what's going on and they go back to picking cotton. There is no middle ground. There is not a tribe. That's either you're going to be on the right side of history, you're going to be on the right side of what needs to happen, or you're going to be on the wrong side. And I submit to you that what's going on at the Capitol is exactly that, because they did not get on the right side of history a long time ago and do right by us and do right by what should have happened to those, like I said, those bastards during the Civil War, Robert E. Lee, and the rest of them, and Cabot, and I can't even think of them. I'm so mad. I can see their faces. There's a book, you guys, whoever's listening, called The Bloody Shirt, and it talks about Appomattox. It talks about all the bullshit. It's a great book, great read, but it talks about everything that happened with the Civil War. It's not like a history book. It talks about all the bullshit that should have been done that they didn't do. Yep, called The Bloody Shirt. Great book. Piss you off. Don't read it and go back to work the next day. You might want to put hands on people.
Yeah.
Read it where you know you can't get next to anybody.
Yeah, read it on a Saturday so you have a day to cool off.
Read it on a Saturday because you
You
need Sunday to do
need Sunday. You gonna need Jesus on
and
Sunday.
take a rest. Or make sure you have a nice picture up on your Zoom call, because I promise you're gonna get hot. But anyway.
Well, you know what? You know what? The next time we do a show, if we do a show again, we should do it on Zoom. So.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were gonna do. I was ready for you too. But
okay.
Yeah, whenever you'll have me back, if you'll have me back, I hope your audience is like, oh my God. But if you will have me back, then most definitely I would love to do it on Zoom.
Oh, absolutely.
Just let me know.
Come on now. You don't.
Yeah, they probably want to see who I am. Let me see who this fool is. Yeah, come see me.
I'm telling you now, don't make that mistake now, because I'll be hitting you up every week saying, hey, let's do a show. You be like,
yeah,
dude, leave me alone.
No, I like having these talks, and I just be interested to hear. I'm interested to hear the other, other viewpoints. I just know mine because I am affiliated with an organization. We're really big on, and I've been affiliated with them for like about 3 years, but before then, I knew how I was feeling. I couldn't be the only one that was feeling this way. And I found like-minded people. We don't agree on everything, but what I'm doing right now just makes sense. It's just pushing for reparations and a black agenda, which would include, our black immigrants and whoever else that falls into that category. But it makes it where it's not about skin color. It's about your lineage. It's about, where it's a group of people who can trace their ancestors back to the plantations of chattel slavery. And this is what we fight for on the local and state level, as well as the nationwide push for reparations for all black people. So that includes reading. Not saying here's your stack of books, go home and read, but we do have book clubs. Like we read Where Do We Go From Here by Martin Luther King. So it wasn't just about the I Have a Dream and all this other stuff. It was him talking about reparations, about coming to get that check, about how he realized that he has integrated his people into a burning house. He realized that integration was not the answer. Forcing white people to like you that don't like you was not the answer. We should have been going for the reparations. He was getting to that point, unfortunately, before he had to before he took a bullet for all of us. So we go from that perspective of where do we go from here, and so I people say, oh, it's going to be hard. Well, you know what else was harder? Slavery. Slavery was harder.
Yeah, you think?
So, and if our ancestors can go through that and think about the uprisings that they tried to have, and then you had some dumb nigga that always went and snitched them out, and just nigga shit. I'm interesting.
That's all right.
You know, but that comes from, and it's not just, oh, we just had a nigga moment. That comes from, that's actually historically been embedded in only our group of people, and it's called meritorious manumission. And what it was is basically where the slave owners would actually give other slaves rewards if they came up with an invention or something that the slave owner could go and get money for, or if they told on other slaves.
Yeah.
They got rewarded for that.
It's called snitching.
So that's been embedded in our DNA. That's why not all, I'm not gonna say everybody, but when they freed us, unfortunately, all the snitches and the coons walked off the plantations with us. The only people that were smart enough to get rid of theirs was Haiti, and that's a whole other story. That's why the U.S. is still mad at Haiti to this day, because of Jean-Jacques Dessalines shot out to him, because they took out the coons and all the snitches first. And then they beat the shit out of the French, the British, and the Italians.
No doubt.
Yeah. But anyway. So that's why I'm saying what I say when I said I'm hopeful about it. I say that not with I'm not going to disparage about the reparations. I'm saying the needle is being pushed really far. Not that we were backing Marianne Williamson, but I don't know if you remember on the presidential debate stage for the Democrats when she got up there talking about reparations.
Yep.
That was our group that prepped her for that.
Wow.
We're willing to talk about that. We're the ones that brought that to the debate stage.
Cool.
So that's how serious that is. Like, even for where I am right now, we're in the middle of writing a bill for Nevada. Now, Nevada, the difference was because we're going to be using the shell of the California bill. California is obviously designed specific to them and it's not for everyone because it's on the local and state level for them. Because Californians, the blacks, the slaves or free slaves that got to California during the gold rush, they were re-enslaved. They were put back into slavery when they got to California. So that's a whole other story. That's a whole other situation going on with them. On top of the redlining, the Jim Crow, the segregation and discrimination. Now, for state of Nevada, we got the job discrimination, segregation, and redlining. Those are the three main things that we're working on here. But overall, nationwide, there is an actual nationwide push for the reparations, which Sheila Jackson Lee is in there now with H.R. 40, the House Resolution 40, which we want scrapped, but now she wants to push it because we were able to get a lot of different senators and Congress people to actually co-sign the bill. But the bill needs edits, and she doesn't want that, and she's kind of happy with how it is, and we're kind of pissed about it, so we're hoping that it dies on the hill and we can come up with something new. But these things are being worked on. They are being talked about. There are people that are doing a lot of historians that want to do work, at Yale and Princeton and Brown University and just all over the place. There's also an actual economist. His name is William Sandy Darity. He wrote a book called From Here to Equality. It is an excellent book, and it actually spells out about reparations. It goes all the way to who qualifies. It goes to how. It talks about how the ministers in 1866 were actually interviewed by the Secretary of War back in the day, and they was asking them what do they need to do for black people, and they were basically talking about reparations way back then. So it's a very good book. People were saying, I don't know, who gets it? How do we determine? How does it work? And that book tells you everything, so everybody can look for an excuse. And just be like, well, I don't want to come out of my pocket to pay it. You don't. You didn't come out of your pocket to pay stimulus.
That's right.
It's the same way they printed that money for stimulus. Same fucking way you can print for the reparations, and they know it. That's why they're quiet.
It's the same check. That's right.
That's why they're quiet, because everybody's like, oh, you don't hear anybody making that argument.
Yeah, it ain't coming out of your pocket. That's right.
It goes through Federal Reserve. It ain't even coming through you, dude. So just relax. Nobody asked me, and they're like, well, nobody asked me. I ain't paying it. Well, nobody asked me when my taxes are going to Israel.
Yep.
Nobody asked me. And I didn't have nothing to do with that. And that didn't even happen on U.S. soil. So let's go there. But I will say saw the white people doing to the black people here in the United States. That's where they got that from.
Learned behavior. That's a term there. That's a real term. Learned behavior. Absolutely. So
Yep.
so
He learned it.
exactly.
But for if you'd only done right by us, it wouldn't have even been those 6 million people getting violated like that.
That's right. Monkey
But
see,
they
monkey
didn't
damn
stop
do.
Like, oh, okay, we're gonna take it. They saw that buffoonery,
You're like, watch
that
this.
deviltry,
Okay.
and they perfected it.
Yeah, exactly.
They said, hold my beer.
Hold my damn beer. Yeah. Don't drink it. Hold it. I'll be right back.
Don't drink it. Hold it.
Hold it. Just hold it. Just keep it cold. But Kellie. Sorry.
But I wanted to put this out there because I know you see me not tweeting. I'm normally on Twitter, but every now and then I'll just blast Facebook every now and then because I got into it with a family member, which I don't think too many people even know that it's my family member. And this is what they got mad at me about. And a lot of people will, but I'll put it out there. And then after that, I've been like just putting stuff up there, and they've had to shut up now. But after the election with Joe Biden, because we had this thing, because a lot of my family members are mad at me for voting down ballot, but I explained why. And I gave a good reason, which they couldn't refute, because of, when Trump first got in and he was doing like the Muslim ban, if everybody remembers, it was a judge in Hawaii that got the injunction that stopped that shit, which is exactly why it's important to vote and watch your local and state elected officials and which ones you vote, even down to dog catcher. It's very important. So that's where I figured that's the best way that I can contribute to this. But when Joe Biden won, I put, okay, he's in there, great. I said, but if Mussolini beat Hitler in a presidential election, I'm like, would you still be celebrating? What are we celebrating here? Right? So she got very upset with me. She gave me some choice words. I didn't know I had like a little baby beehive on Facebook. I had to block some people because they started going after her, but they didn't know she was my family member. But, and so since then though, and I know she's still looking, she's still watching, and so that's why you're seeing the post that you see going up there. That I'm doing right now. I mean, yeah, it's a stab for other people too, because there were a lot of people that were giving me static when I was going off about George Floyd, because I have quite a few friends that are either dating a cop or they're married to one or they know one, and I said congratulations to you. Now, if they see something, they need to say something. Is it a blue wall or is it a white wall of white supremacy? Which one is it? So they never really block me. Yeah, so, and now that's why so I'm doing kind of like killing two birds with one stone. So that's why you see me posting like that out of crazy, because in a minute I'll be back on Twitter. I mean, I really live on Twitter. I have almost 9,000 followers on Twitter. There's no reason to be really messing around on Facebook, but I just do it because I have family members there, and I just kind of go back and check in on them every now and then, and just kind of give my little, Muhammad Ali little sticks and moves, and then I'll be back later. So
okay, I'm gonna have to check.
Right now, I'm just letting them have it.
I'm gonna have to start following you on Twitter then. Okay, all right.
Oh yeah, come on into the Audubon, because it's an Audubon. It's a mess.
Will do.
It's nothing nice on Twitter.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, please, it's under my name on Twitter, so you'll find me. It's my picture. You can't miss me.
Wow.
So, yeah, come on in. The water is warm. It's a mess, but it's warm. All right.
No doubt. And guess what? Believe it or not, we just hit the 2 hour and 15-minute mark.
Oh my God! Okay, I am so sorry.
That's okay. It's okay.
I talk up all of your points and stuff, and I keep saying sorry, guys, because I can talk forever.
It's okay. It's fine.
Such an interesting, dangerous, exciting time that there's just everything that I've been seeing and reading and observing is kind of coming to fruition. Unfortunately, not that I was wishing it, but it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, you know what they say, everything old is new again anyway. So. But I really appreciate you taking time out to do this. I know you could have been any place in the world, but you decided to spend that time with me, and I am appreciative of that. So You made a lot of good points. I didn't agree with all your points, but you made a lot of good points, and it's good food for thought. So for my listeners out there, I mean, don't take it with a grain of salt. Learn things. I mean, go back and re-listen to it. Read the books. Do the research. And there's a lot that can there's a lot to take away from any conversation if you're actively listening. And once again, Kelly, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out to kind of speak on these things with me. And I knew that these would be subjects that you could really sink your teeth into. So I'm so appreciative of that. And for my listeners out there, subscribe, sign up for notifications. I'm always looking to get new subscribers and everything. I appreciate everybody taking time out, of their day to follow me and to listen to my show and everything. I like your comments, so keep the comments coming and everything. And Kelly, we need to do this again like real soon. All right.
Yes, thank you so much. I just wanted to say thank you so much, and I appreciate it. I just appreciate that you entrusted that you could bring me onto your show. So thank you. I'm flattered. Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely.
So if you want me to come back, just let me know, and we'll carve out some space for some time.
Absolutely. Okay. Now, like I said before, be careful what you ask for because you're gonna get it, and you'll be like, "Oh man, stop calling me, Lonzo."
No, it's totally fine. This is important. I think it's important, okay. And I'm open to different perspectives. So.
Okay, so once again, thank you so much, and thank everybody out there for listening. Because once again, you just heard what Lonzo thinks. Next time, y'all.